Good morning, El Paso. Welcome back to El Paso Podcast, or the Art Millennium Podcast, and that is El Paso. Welcome. Thank you for, you know what, I think I put it in
incorrectly. All right, there we go. This is better. This feels better for me. I don't know if it's better for you listening or better for me, but it sounds a little better for me. So I'm back now. I'm actually better committed to the podcast now. This is going to be the second one. This is going to be for events happening Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is actually the end of January and the beginning of February. So how are your resolutions going? How are your 2020 resolutions going this year? This is around the time when people start, it's February. You maybe have a soda, have a beer, have an ice cream, and Super Bowl Sunday is coming up. And this is when everybody starts falling off the resolution wagon, right? And I'm not. I'm actually doing pretty good. I actually get the joy of working through Super Bowl Sunday. So I guess it helps me kind of hold back a little bit. But, nonetheless, I feel everybody should enjoy their Super Bowl Sunday. I always thought it should be considered almost like a holiday. I always say that. I'm probably not the only one. I'm almost sure I'm not the only one. But I really believe that it should be almost considered like a holiday. Because even if people don't watch it for the football game, I know a lot of people watch it for the commercials, for the halftime show, just the party, really, just to hang out and be with family. I remember when all my family would get together, we would watch it. The guys would usually be watching the game, and the ladies would probably be outside or, not to sound cliche or anything, but they would probably be cooking or be hanging out with the kids. Most of the guys, not all the guys too, because, there's obviously some guys that really could care less about football, which, I understand. I personally enjoy just the games and everything. And like I said, the Super Bowl, I feel it should almost be, and I think it probably is almost considered maybe like an unofficial holiday. It's a big event. People do a lot of prep. I actually went with my sister and did a little shopping. And I saw today, which is the 28th, which is Tuesday. Tuesday the 28th, we went shopping in the morning to try to beat the lines and all the traffic and everything. We went a little earlier. We went shopping, and I saw a lot of people that were clearly buying things already for their Super Bowl Sunday party. And that's very exciting. And I think, this is the podcast where, obviously I try to do it specifically for the events that maybe do not pertain to the Super Bowl. Because even though the Super Bowl is a big day event, it is only on Sunday. But it does take all of your day. And that's very exciting, especially most of you that have Sunday off, get to chill at home, get to enjoy most of your day. It's perfect. It really is perfect. And, with the thought of it being a kind of considered a national holiday, I would be for having Monday off, right? Come on, it makes sense. It's a good drinking time. It's a good party time. It would be a great time to just, after the Super Bowl and everything, still hang out. As you do in normal parties, right? That's why most people have their parties Fridays or Saturdays. That way you have your whole Sunday to rest, obviously. So it would only make sense that maybe, we could perhaps make it a national holiday. That way you could get maybe that Monday off, or it could be optional, I guess. Or maybe that would just be up to your employer, or I don't know. Like I said, I've always, ever since I've become a fan of of the Super Bowl and actually being able to party and have a good time with family. I mean, it would be very nice to have that Monday. Let me go ahead and silence my phone there, just so I don't get any annoying. Okay, all right, Mr. Popularity over here. But yeah, anyway, so this is gonna be the events going. Like I said, it's already the end. It's the end of January. Hopefully, you're still keeping up with your resolutions. I feel that people that do their resolutions this year, it's kind of like a decade, right? That's the way our minds work. It's a bunch of zeros, so it's a good round number, and it's perfect to make a change of life, or just start doing little changes, little things differently. And I think, I mean, in 2020, for some reason, for my target audience, for everybody that's, a millennial, which I so happen to be just smack in the middle of that, I feel like this would be, we're at that age where, the 30s are coming at us, and we want to have something stable in our lives and everything. And, we're old enough to where we can party and hang out with friends and have a good time without having to be careful of, you can't be drinking, you can't be, everything. We're adults now. We're millennials. And, as opposed to thinking, people for the longest time thought millennials were like these children and these immature people and everything, which, I understand the older generations always feel that about the previous, or the newer generations, actually. So it only makes sense, really, that people want to kind of look down upon, I guess, on the younger generations, and I think we're all guilty of that. We sometimes make fun of people, even if they're not even that much younger than us. But yeah, so like I said, I know, for me also, I'm gonna see if we could have a TV maybe at work, and maybe I could watch part of the game there, or just watch the good parts. And the good thing about the commercials and everything, it is pretty exciting, all the commercials and everything. But yeah, you could always find them on YouTube. But there's always something to the effect of just watching them. This is something that we don't get to do as a society anymore, I don't think. And with all the streaming services that we have, we don't have this thing of like community viewing of something, when, especially for big TV shows back in the day. And I know people that still like to do that, maybe even as you do pay-per-view fights, or show finales, or new episodes, or like a big episode of some shows. I know a lot of venues like to have, they make events, and they make, they have promotions or everything. So if there's something that comes out on a streaming service, but they also show it on TV, you can have a place to go watch it and have that community feeling where, it's always kind of cool when you enjoy something and there's also a fan there with you, especially if it's a show, like I think they did it with maybe Game of Thrones, I think I want to say, maybe The Walking Dead, where, videos came up about it all over the place, all over the internet, on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, where it's like whenever somebody would die, or whenever somebody would get out of a really crazy situation, especially in a finale or some way to set it up for the upcoming season or something. A lot of places, bars and restaurants and a bunch of places like that, like to do their events. And whenever something like that, just monumental, happens, everybody in the restaurant cheers and everybody gets all crazy and everything. And I think that with the rise of all these new streaming services, and they keep coming out, we kind of lose some of that. And, the podcast also did it to encourage people to go out and just be around other people. With the technology and everything, technology is great. I'm not, this whole podcast wouldn't be able to happen without all the amazing technology that we have. But I feel that with the upcoming of that, we we're kind of letting go of some of the more personal things. And that is one of the things that also encouraged me to start this podcast, to encourage people to go out and maybe find things that they didn't do, but to actually interact with other folks around the city, especially people that have your same likes and your same things that you like. So yeah, that's kind of the thing that I like. Like I said, since the Super Bowl is a perfect time for that, you always have, and of course, I know sometimes you have like fights and stuff like that because people are loyal to their teams and whatnot. But it's always kind of cool, for the most part, people want to go out and enjoy themselves. You're always going to have those bad apples or anything, but for the great majority, the vast majority, I would say, people just want to go out and have a good time. And you have to be safe and everything too, but it's a good time to be out. And it's a Sunday, it's the Super Bowl, it's the end of the whole thing. Well, I mean, it's not the end, but it's the Super Bowl. So it's the end of the season. The Patriots aren't in it, so everybody's all excited for some reason. I get it. Yeah. But yeah, so aside from the Super Bowl, I'm also going to talk about it toward the end here, just because that's Sunday and that's my last day to cover. But I'm going to try to cover some of the other days that we have here, starting on Thursday. I haven't looked far into Monday. I'm still, like I said, this is my second week back, so I'm trying to ease into it. This is a little more streamlined. I have all my pages here and all my contact information and everything. That way I'll be able to tell you that. So let's go ahead and get that. If you want to find me on Twitter and YouTube. And also you could email me, or if there's an event that you have or maybe an event that you would want to talk about, you could also email me. That is the email for the podcast, and hopefully if you have some event that maybe you're having a hard time sponsoring, or maybe an event that you have kind of a hard time, especially, with Facebook, it's a lot easier to let people know in a very cheap way how to let people know about your events and everything. But like I said, I'll also try to help out. And the email for the podcast is ampeptx@gmail.com. That's ampeptx@gmail. And you could go ahead and send me an email to see maybe if I want to talk about your event or anything like that. I would definitely be, if it has in some sort of way attachment to maybe something that has to do with art, or that would be geared towards millennials, which I think we're the vast majority. We're kind of a big piece of the workforce, I would imagine. And you could also, you probably leave comments on YouTube. I haven't checked on those really. And you could also send me a tweet, or just go ahead and follow the Twitter page. That is ampeptx at Twitter. But like I said, you could go ahead and email. That is ampeptx@gmail.com. That is also Twitter, ampeptx. For the podcast, and hopefully you'll be able to recognize the logo. And you could also find me at Amp El Paso on Facebook. And those are kind of the three big ones. I'm still thinking about getting Instagram. I know that one would be especially for all the things that, all the events and everything, that way you kind of see the vibe of all these places and everything. I do need to get an Instagram. So I'm already a month into this. So already, pretty much January is already gone. And February, January, I already started it. I started it back up again. I'm back. And this time I'm actually keeping up to my schedule of recording before Wednesday. But I this is constantly moving and constantly changing, so I'm constantly having to add a few more things here. And I think the next step would be that Instagram page. It would be perfect to go ahead and link those up to the Twitter and the Facebook and kind of have the big three. The big three. I'm going to get a little water here. My mouth's starting to get a little dry. I did want to talk about. You should probably be a little conscious about just health. Wash your hands and all that good stuff. I know we've all been kind of watching the news, and there's some not really scary stories. I mean, we've had a lot of outbreaks of certain diseases and stuff, and I think the big one right now is the coronavirus, and that one's kind of got people on their toes about it. But a simple way to do that is, just mind your hygiene, mind your hold on. Sorry about that. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a bad idea to try to record here in the living room. Yeah, my dog had to ask him to be quiet. Yeah, I'm trying to record. You know what? Let's go ahead and get started with the events. And my dog outside started barking, so this guy started barking. It's okay. All right, so like I said, just try to stay healthy. Just mind that, especially we're still on the tail end of the like a flu and all that good stuff. You can probably hear the dog here just breathing next to me. Let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be events happening Thursday through Sunday. That is Thursday, January the 30th, Friday the 31st, Saturday, February 1st, Sunday the 2nd, and the Super Bowl Sunday the 2nd. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I have here is going to be the El Paso Electric is going to be having a young people's concert. I think that's going to be... Excuse me, sorry. I think that's going to be, I would imagine, mainly for parents, family, and friends of these younger people. But it says here that it's mainly the performers on Thursday are going to be mainly fifth graders. And they're going to have a couple of shows going on at 10:30 and 12:30, rather. And that's going to be Thursday, the El Paso Electric Young People's Concert, and that's at the Abraham Chavez Theater. And I do believe that is a free event. Like I said, it's Thursday, so as people start winding down, there's not a lot of events, but there are some stuff. So, you could start going out and enjoying some of the things that I have. Also, going on at 7 is going to be the UTEP men's basketball over at the Don Haskins. Tickets range from about $10 to about $100, I think, probably even more. And it's going to be the UTEP Miners between the versus the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. Wow, man, that's a mouthful, right? And that's going to be at 7 at the Don Haskins on Thursday. Also, the comic strip is going to be having comedian Kay Vaughn. He's a Persian guy. He came on Disaster Day. I don't know if you guys remember that TV show. And it says here he's going to be performing with Justin Rivera. And that is, it's comedy, and it's probably not suitable for kids and stuff. But it's always a good time there at the comic strip. And for I think the last one for Thursday is going to be a concert here at Speak and Rock. They usually try to do their free concerts here at the Speak and Rock, and that's going to be at 8. And it's going to be Sweet Nadine, and I think that's kind of like a blues group. Everybody likes the blues. It's very chill. I feel like it fits for a Thursday. Nothing too crazy because everybody still obviously has to go to work on Fridays. This is the other one. Apparently, I don't know if this is a thing right now or because we have a big cellist that maybe came here. But there's a couple of events that include like cellos, like centered around cellos. And it may be, I was not in orchestra. I was an orchestra kid in high school or in any part of my education, but I do enjoy the music, classical music. I do like it. I actually we watched Amadeus just last week, and that's the pretty much the history. I think it's pretty loosely based, but it is the story of Mozart. I believe through the eyes of Antonio Salieri, who I don't know if it's completely accurate historically, but it's kind of a rough thing. Amadeus, if you ever watch it, it's an older movie, I believe, and the actor is actually very good. And the whole movie, it's a very long movie, but it's a good movie. And like I said, I've always kind of enjoyed that kind of music, and every once in a while I'll get caught when I'm switching stations or something. If there's something that catches your eye, I kind of imagine what would be happening on a stage with certain music, whether it be maybe an army, like an old ancient army storming some gates or some castle or something. And that's very good music. For things such as like I was just mentioning, Game of Thrones and those kinds of things, or even Star Wars and all. I mean, they all have these amazing orchestras. So that's kind of what I start to associate with things that happen with events such as this one, which happens to be about a cellist. And this is actually Bach's Lunch. And that's the title of the event. It's called Bach's Lunch, Follow That Cello. And it's an event by the El Paso Museum of Art. And that's going on also Thursday from 12 noon to about 1 p.m. And I honestly don't know. I would assume it's inside and maybe a venue inside, or maybe some sort of chamber or a stage. Although, sometimes I know they have musical things outside. But yeah, that's going to be, and you can find this one on Facebook. Just at Bach's Lunch, Follow That Cello, and that's the El Paso Museum of Art. And it's on the events for January the 30th, Thursday. So I think we're going to be able to move on to Friday here. All right then. So for Friday, we have one of the first events that I saw is going to be actually a 3-day event. The one that comes out first would be the El Paso Young People's Concert. It's going to be also on Friday, and that is also going to be 2 performances at 10:30 and at 12:30. Wouldn't want to shadow them a lot either. Although with this next event being here in El Paso, I think this one's going to be a big event. Hopefully, a lot of people will come out to this one, and this is actually called the El Paso Strong Hackathon. And it's going to be in remembrance of the shooting that happened here just a few months back, here in 2019. And this is going to be an event to try to bring just students and people involved in businesses and from government and everything from both here, El Paso and Juarez, to try to find just issues and things that happen here in the borderland, which, we are a very closely knit city with Juarez. I don't know, you might have heard in the art kind of community, there was also a tragedy over this past weekend. I believe it was over Saturday. A young woman went missing, and she was actually found dead, I believe, Sunday. And she was a big artist, and she did some murals, and she was actually also an activist here for Juarez. Which, if you have any idea of Juarez, and I'm assuming people from Juarez and El Paso know that Juarez for a long time had a lot of problems with women being murdered and being kidnapped and stuff like that. And this young woman was a big activist for things like that. and she was actually kind of a victim of that same issue that she was trying to fight and bring more awareness to, as a lot of women. And like I said, that's why I'm trying to get also a following, and I want to start giving more information about things that also happen here in Juarez. Hopefully I'll be able to start also a podcast, maybe in conjunction with this one, or maybe something kind of separate, but in the same, maybe two of the same kind of thing. And this one, since we did have a lot of victims from Juarez, or actually even think further down in Mexico, that were involved here in the shooting last year, El Paso Strong Hackathon is going to be an event Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to try to find things to bring both communities together. We can obviously see with lines going back and forth from here to Juarez, and from Juarez coming over here. There's people that travel almost, daily, I would imagine. And this is one of those events that would help bring people like that together. Either businesses, students, just community leaders, and things like that. I think El Paso is slowly but surely becoming closer to our sister city of Juarez. And hopefully I'll be able to have some part in that, and be able to help people, and be able to see just the cities both coming together. They're both beautiful cities, and I like both of them. So that would be one of the things that I would love to see even better. That's good. Like I said, that's going to be kind of a big event, I would imagine, also going on through the weekend. Like I said, that's the El Paso Strong Hackathon. Okay, so also we're going to have a couple more concerts and some more games. At 7 p.m., UTEP is going to be having Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This was actually also on Thursday. I don't know why I missed it, but they're going to be having Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's going to be like a musical. It's going to be a Broadway of El Paso show, and that's going to be Thursday 7:30, Friday at 7, Saturday I think it was also at 7, and Sunday it might be a matinee. I didn't look ahead enough for this one. Let me see. Oh, and there's going to be a El Paso Wind Symphony over at the Pebble Hills High School. I would assume that's also students. I'm not too sure what the Wind Symphony contains as far as members. But yeah, it's going to be going on at Pebble Hills High School at 7:30, and tickets are $10. And if it'll help the school systems and everything, that's also a big plus. All right, moving on. This is one that I actually saw last week, but I try to just talk about the events that are happening in the current week. This Friday, starting at 8, Sullen Park Casino is going to be having a concert tribute for Mr. Johann Sebastian. And obviously, he passed away a couple years ago, I believe. And this is a 21 only, being that it is inside the casino. I actually like a lot of his music. He had a lot of very romantic music. The gentleman did. He was a very good singer. And I don't know as far as a songwriter. I don't know if he wrote all his songs, but yeah, a lot of his music was very good. It's going to be at 8:30 at Sullen Park Casino. Also, if that type of music is not your cup of tea, Lowbrow Palace is going to have they have a Battle of the Bands. And this is going to be called Soul Parade. And it just says that they have different genres. If it's going to be a Battle of the Bands, there's going to be a little bit of variety. And that's Lowbrow Palace at 8:30 as well. And it's going to be a Battle of the Bands. You can probably look it up. I think you can find that also on their Facebook page at the Lowbrow Palace. It's going to be a Battle of the Bands. So those are always kind of fun. And again, also the comic strip is going to be having Mr. K. Vaughn along with Justin Rivera. And that's going to be on Friday rather. It's going to be at 9:30, and that's at the comic strip. And you could go to the comic strip for their tickets. They're very well priced, so you don't have to spend a lot of money to go out and have a good time. And later that night on Friday around 10 p.m., Speaking Rock is going to have a band that I actually like a lot, and this is Sonora Escándalo. And that's a very good cumbia music. They have a great environment. They have great music and everything. And that's going to be starting at 10 at Speaking Rock on Friday. And that's going to be Sonora Escándalo. So go out, go get some drinks, go out and dance, go have a good time. Before your weekend really kicks off over for that Super Bowl Sunday, right? All right, so that's pretty much all I have for Friday. So moving on over to Saturday. There is going to be, I think, a matinee for the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Also on Saturday. Well, actually, yeah, it might be a matinee. And then in the morning for Saturday, and that's February the 1st. So that's going to be the first day of your second month already, okay? So that's already February. Everybody was complaining that January was going super slow, and it was. It was a long month. It was like 90 days long, right? But now, yeah, that's it. This weekend is the Super Bowl Sunday, and then February is going to be like a blink of an eye, as it usually is. It's going to be like 2 weeks long, and that's it. That's February. Anyway, so. Start your February right with February 1st. It's a Saturday. Wake up nice and early. Especially, if you go out and party, wake up pretty early. And you could make it in time for the downtown Artist and Farmers Market. I have been wanting to go down there to get some of their flavored kombucha. Last week, I saw that they had some pica fresa kombucha. And, man, what was the other flavor? I don't remember. But... this was pretty good. And yeah, I wanted to get that one I wanted to try it, and I don't know, I think they get you some to-go bottles. That way you could buy it. I'm going to have to hit pause here. Of course, you probably won't notice, but I'll be right back. All right, how many interruptions have we had today, right? A little dog bark and people coming in the door and everything. I don't even know where I was at. Oh, yeah. Actually, I remember exactly where I was at. I was talking about the kombucha. I saw some pictures of it, and I saw a picture of the little sign that I actually don't know who it is. I haven't been to the farmers market with the holidays and with the cold weather. When they came back, I wasn't able to actually go. But yeah, farmers market, they have a lot of good things. I actually shared a lot of their things, their products that they were offering before the actual event last Saturday. So yeah, it's going to be going on there downtown at the Union Plaza, starting at 10 in the morning, and that's pretty good. That's a pretty long farmers market from 10 to about 2. That's about 4 solid hours, and it's still a little chilly. So if you're going to be walking around, maybe a light jacket would be okay. It doesn't get cold like in direct sunlight, but if you end up having to stand in the shade or something, you get a breeze. Man, it's cold. So yeah, that's the downtown farmers market is actually very good. I do really recommend that one. So yeah, it's not crazy early, and it goes on for a while, so you don't even have to be there super early. Although some of their things do run out, so maybe that would be a good idea to just show up early. Just to you don't want, like me, I wouldn't want to show up late and have that kombucha kind of be gone, right? Okay, so moving on. We're still on Saturday. Everybody with me still? So yeah, going on over at moving on. So that's that too, right? Okay, so moving 3 p.m. Let's see, that is the El Paso Symphony Youth Orchestra. And that's going to be having, oh man, I had to move all my stuff and everything. Got all screwed up here. Okay, so that's back to Friday, Saturday. Okay. Yeah, there it is. The winter concert. El Paso Symphony Youth Orchestra. Not young people, Youth Orchestra. Is going to be performing their winter concert. And that is at 3 p.m. at the Abraham Chavez Theater. Tickets go for $10 to $15. I would assume closer or the better seats. $10 to $15 at the Abraham Chavez Theater. About an hour and a half for the concert. The El Paso Symphony Youth Orchestra. And moving on to, I think that's it for about a few of the morning things. Moving on over to the evening, starting at 7, is also going to be UTEP men's basketball. Again, another game over at the Don Haskins Center. And that's UTEP versus UAB. I'm not going to pretend I know who that is, but let's go ahead and look up. And yeah, it doesn't say here who UAB is. I get a bunch of ads and all this other good stuff. And since we're still on Saturday, let's see what other events. I'm switching over Windows here on my computer. I'm switching over a bunch of different tabs that I have. Oh, that's the one that I saw. Also on Saturday, Kelly Q actually is going to be. Well, I don't know if Kelly Q hosts this one, but it's going to be it's the Wine Time. Is it a festival, or is it just a Wine Time event? Anyway, I know Kelly Q does a lot of their sponsorships for this one, and that's going on at the Epic Rail Yard Event Center. It's that the one close to downtown, right? I always get it confused with the one with the real Grande Shovelheads, the 444 motorcycle show. That's the one that I always get kind of confused with. Epic Rail Yard Event Center. That's starting at 7. Well, actually, it's an evening event also. And that's this Saturday. And that's the Wine Time Festival. Is it Wine Time Festival? And that's this Saturday, the 1st. You know, you could go get some wine and go do a little bit of pre-gaming before that awesome Sunday game. Also, it's Black History Month, and a lot of places around town are actually doing a lot of Black History Month celebrations and everything. And those are always pretty good. There's going to be a couple at smaller event centers, and I know Fort Bliss does one at their Freedom Crossings. They always have bigger events around there. That's going to be February the 1st is it a Black History Month. And then we also have I'm switching. Like I said, I'm switching over from window to window here. Still kind of trying to catch up on this. Saturday, the UTEP Dinner Theater is going to be having a Saturday Night Fever. You know, that awesome song. And it's it says the description that it says here, it's the Bee Gees perform for this to perform a musical for this smash hit based on like a magazine. It's tribal rights of the new Saturday night. So I would assume that it's just a lot of different Bee Gees songs that have to do, maybe into some sort of storyline or something. And that's at the UTEP Dinner Theater. Tickets are $45, but I do believe that you actually, since it is a dinner theater, I do believe you can get the option of having like a plate or something. Like you get a meal that comes with that. And there's actually a lot of events going on at UTEP this weekend. I think classes just started last week also, maybe this week. So it would make sense that they would, kind of get back up to kind of keep that energy going. So all the students kind of get the idea that they're back in school. So it makes perfect sense that they're having all these events. They're also going to be having a recital, and I do believe this is a faculty recital, and that's at 7:30 over at the UTEP's Fox Fine Arts recital hall. And I think that's the one. That's the one that it was also with a cellist. It's going to be it's El Paso Pro Musica Chamber Musical Festival. And it actually concludes with the Lynn Harrell, the Dean of the American Cellist. So I believe, I don't know who Lynn Harrell is, but I'm assuming they're going to also be at the Museum of Art, right? And like I said, it was like a thing where it's kind of a big deal it's like a cellist weekend here in El Paso for that. And like I said, if obviously there's different tastes for different people, there's also going to be the comic strip also has something. The Charlie and Chocolate Factory is also going to be at the Plaza Theater on Saturday as well. And later on that night, you could also go to Speaking Rock always has events. There's going to be a small concert here. Well, not small concert. The concerts at Sullen Park Racetrack and Casino usually are pretty good, and they're going to have a band called Invisible this week, and that's a classic rock band going on at 8:30. They're at Speaking Rock Casino on Saturday night. So there's a lot of events going on Saturday night, and there's a variety of them actually. Now that I kind of think about it, there's actually quite a nice variety of it. We're moving on to Sunday. One of the events that caught my eye. Actually, let me go ahead and start just at the beginning. It's going to be the last day of the El Paso Strong Hackathon, right? So it's going to be the El Paso Strong Hackathon is going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And also Sunday, as they usually do, there's going to be a women's hike at the Weiler Aerial Tramway State Park. And that's going to be I don't know. As far as hikes go, I know the hard part about a hike is all the hills and the up and down, and you have to be careful with rolling an ankle or something like that. And this one says it's about a 3.5 hour hike. So that seems pretty, it seems like a pretty good hike. And again, that's going to be Sunday, starting Sunday, nice and early at 7:30 in the morning at Weiler Aerial Tramway State Park. It's going to be about 3.5 hour hike, and that's a women's hike there on Sunday morning. And again, the El Paso Strong Hackathon is going to be going on most of the morning, and this is probably going to be concluding around 1, maybe a little bit longer than that, as these things usually do. And hopefully that's going to be a nice event. They'll have a lot of people out there. And moving on, of course, this is going to be Super Bowl Sunday. So I understand a lot of people are going to set aside a lot of things, but not everybody is a football fan, which it's hard to believe, but I understand that. But there's also a lot of other events going on. UTEP is going to be having tennis at the El Paso Tennis Club, and it's going to be UTEP Miners versus New Mexico, and that starts at noon on Sunday. Which what's the timeline on the Super Bowl around that time? Are they already out on the field, or they're already doing all the pre-game show stuff? I'm not exactly sure on the schedule of the Super Bowl. Also on Sunday, starting at 1, Insights El Paso, which, that changed, right? It used to be the Inside Science Museum, and now it's just Insights El Paso. Well, they're going to have a Dino Tracks Sunday public tour, and that's I didn't know this, and I actually read up a little bit on the event, but there's actually like fossilized remains here in El Paso, and if you are interested, I think it's geared toward kids and stuff like that. But I kind of like dinosaurs. A lot of the Jurassic Park movies I really enjoy. A lot of the older ones also. They're very good movies, especially for the time and everything. They're very good movies. But yeah, this is going to be the Dino Tracks Sunday public tour. And actually did see tickets. I think there were $15 to $20. And they'll actually disclose. They'll give you all the information for the tour once you actually buy the tickets and stuff. Just they know specific sites where it's good hiking places and tours for these sites. And I think they'll start giving all that information once you have your tickets, and that way you know where to go. Sunday's going to be the last day for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it is going to be a matinee that's starting at 1, and tickets are about $40. So be ready. Like I said, it's Super Bowl Sunday, but all these events are also for a lot of people. There's also going to be another recital at the Fox Fine Arts in UTEP, and it is a faculty recital starting at 2:30. The youth orchestra, El Paso Symphony Youth Orchestra, it's also going to be having their concert going on through Sunday, and that's going to be starting at 3 p.m. on Sunday, I mean. And, we're starting to get to all these events that have to do with the Super Bowl parties and pre-parties and pre-game and all that. And I only have a couple here. But before I get to those, actually, I wanted to talk to you about this one. There's going to be a Chuco photo sesh. And this actually is one that I found on Facebook. And that's going to be, it's sponsored by El Paso 420 nurses. And I actually looked into their group a little bit since I didn't really know what it was. And just hear me out. It's a group of women, and it's more of an alternative kind of thing. But, with the name 420 nurses, you kind of have an idea what they do. And I know they work with like El Paso Normal and stuff like that to with all the differences in legality that's going on with marijuana and cannabis and all of those things. And I know they're kind of proponents of stuff like that. And they're going to be having I believe it's a private one, so you have to contact them, and then they'll give you information on the photo shoots and stuff like that. But yeah, I think they're all trying to make awareness for just for legalization of cannabis and cannabinoid products. And that's going to be going on also on Sunday. And that one actually starts early, Everybody, I feel like we all had this idea kind of ingrained in us where, people that used any cannabis products were like stoners or were lazy or anything. And now with all the benefits that are coming out and people are starting to accept it. At 8 a.m. on a Sunday, it's an event that people would probably be a little surprised, right? But yeah, nonetheless, like I said, I did look into their group a little bit, and you could get more information on their Facebook page, and that is 420 Nurses, El Paso 420 Nurses, and their event is going to be Chuco Photo Sesh. So with that, we're going to start moving on to all the stuff that's geared toward the Super Bowl, and that's the big one, right? So the Super Bowl, I don't even know what time the game starts, right? I always pretty much the TV's on all day. But some of these events start around 3. The one that I have here, I only have a couple actually, and it's going to be the Speaking Rock. It's going to be starting at 3. And the other one that I have here is at Dave and Buster's, and it starts at 3:30, and they all go well into like 9 at night. And like I said, this is only 2 places, but I know for a fact that everybody's going to be out, or there's going to be at home. People are going to be grilling out. People are going to be cooking out. People are going to be having a good time this Sunday. So go ahead and enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Just to close out the Sunday with some of the events going on later that night. Maybe your team wins. You want to go out and wind down or celebrate. Maybe go dance a little bit. Solon Park Casino is going to be having mariachis. And I think Speaking Rock, too, I think they do have a little bit of music going on after the show. Or after the game, rather. So that's pretty much all the events for this week. That's Thursday, the 30th of January, closing out the month going on to Sunday, February the 2nd. So go ahead and have a good time. Be safe. Just enjoy your time. Go out and hang out with people. Be nice to people. Be careful. We all want to go out and enjoy the game, and enjoy time with our families. And just take care of yourself also. Try to stay healthy, wash your hands, all that good stuff. That way you could start enjoying your summer as soon as it starts winding down. We only have maybe a month left of the cold weather. And even then, inside that 1 month or so of time that we have, we get a couple hot days, a couple really, really beautiful days. Just kind of sprinkled in there, right? So have a good weekend. Go enjoy all the events. Don't forget to follow AMP El Paso Podcast on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. The email address is ampeptx@gmail.com. I am thinking about starting to add local music to the podcast, just so I can bring awareness to some of the local artists. If you would be interested in maybe sampling some of your song on the podcast, I'll probably try to use some music as an intro or an outro, or maybe throw it in the middle somewhere if it fits, or maybe in the background, and maybe talk about it a little bit and give awareness. So I am starting to think of doing that as a way of bringing a little more recognition to some of our great and talented local artists, right? Because we've demonstrated we're very loving and supportive and a very talented community here in El Paso and Juarez, and all the surrounding area around here. So again, thank you for joining me here for this week. Again, I'm starting to kind of get back into the rhythm of everything. Today I had a little bit of speed bumps there in the road. I got kicked out of the living room, and the dog started barking and everything. But this is a learning process. We'll look back on this a few years from now, and we'll all laugh about it, right? Again, follow, subscribe, contact AMP El Paso Podcast. That is AMP EPTX, AMP El Paso on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Facebook's a big one. And I'll try to keep sharing some of the events that I probably missed. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.